This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, very good. I jumped you. For Thursday, October 7th, 2021, call it to order at 7:02. First item after opening the meeting is introductions, which I will basically call roll call for the members, and then I'll just announce who on staff is here. So, Barbara Yocum.
Hi, I'm here.
Yes, present. Guy Corbacero, present. Jeff Bennett was Jeff Bennett. Is he a member or is he staff? I don't see him on my list, but
Jeff's from
oh
Templeton.
yes, he's Templeton. I'm sorry. Jeff Bennett.
Yes.
Okay, Jessica DeRoy.
Present.
John Telepiak.
Here.
Jonathan Krantz.
Here. Present.
Present. Well, Rick Ward from Winchinen.
Here.
Russ Williston, I'm sorry.
Present.
And Stacy Donahue.
Harvard, present.
Okay, very good. And then we have for guests, I guess Maribel Cruz is a guest tonight instead of a member.
Present.
Present.
No,
Okay, then we move up the list to for staff. There's Holly Ford, Glenn Eaton, Karen Chapman, Jason Stanton, and Brad Harris. Did I miss anybody? Well, if not, we'll move on to the second item, approval of September 7th, 2021 MRPC minutes. You have received them basically in the packet online. So if there's any additions, corrections, comments, I'll accept them now. If not, I'll accept a motion to accept the minutes as printed.
Guy, this is Barbara Yocum. May I ask a question?
Oh, go right ahead, Barbara, please.
Okay,
Love
this is
question.
for Glenn. I did read the minutes and I was interested in the Massachusetts Department of Energy Resources grant that you received for regional energy planning assistance. I was just wondering, who is your point of contact at the town?
Karen, can you field that question for Barbara? Karen is our environmental planner. She's been writing and administering those grants and programs.
Okay, would that be Mike McGovern, the town administrator?
Yes, that's who I deal directly with.
Okay, so Mike would be the point of contact there. Okay, very good. Thank you, Karen.
You're welcome.
Okay, very good. Any other questions on the minutes? If not, I'll entertain a motion to accept as printed.
So
So
moved.
move.
So that is Barbara Yocum and
Seconded by
Krantz.
Jonathan Kranz.
Jonathan Krantz. I'd say very good. Any other questions? If not, I'll call a roll. Barbara Yocum.
Aye.
Jeff Bennett.
Yes.
Jessica DeRoy.
Yes.
John Telepiak.
Yes.
Jonathan Krantz.
Aye.
Russ Williston.
Yes.
And Stacy Donahue.
Yes.
So the minutes are accepted unanimously. Next item on the agenda is the Montechusett Regional Planning Commission's cash schedule. I guess our treasurer is not here at the moment. So would you like to take that, Glenn, or should I?
I don't mind doing that, Mr. Chairman. I'm always happy to do this if it's okay with you and the others. May I just state I'm sorry my camera's not on. Jason's been trying to fix it, and even for temporarily it's beyond his but he's going to fix this, I know. So my apologies that my camera's not on this evening to all. But so as far as the cash schedule goes, so basically we're showing opening balances in the checking accounts and all accounts, including the EPA program income, which we don't touch. And so we've got over $509,000 in those. However, there's $224,000 and change in the EPA program income account, which we need to start. As soon as we get staffed back to 100% capacity, we can start marketing that program. I just want to explain quickly the MMDT, where it says MMDT and MMDT OPEB. Those are basically our savings accounts. Okay, so we sock money away, and we operate daily out of the checking account. And we try to save money when we can. Jason, could you go down to cash receipts? You can just go to the bottom of cash receipts. That'd be great. So you see some assessments came in and some other things. If anybody has any questions, we can answer those. Total receipts for this past month, a little over 118, almost $119,000. Total cash on hand before this particular warrant, about 628 grand, less the amount of all cash disbursements we've had over the past 30 plus or minus days. Little under 140, leaving a balance of $488,000 in all cash. And Jason, can you show the bottom of the page, please? So that basically leaves us on deposit September 30, 2021. And again, this cash schedule is done by Linda Quinlivan, our fiscal director. So you can see the balances of the accounts from the top down to the bottom. So we have total on deposit as of that date of $488,545.55. So pretty, fairly healthy right now, which is always good. Thank you. I can field questions, or Linda can field questions if commissioners have any questions.
Not hearing any questions, I'll accept the motion to accept the cash schedule as presented, subject to audit.
So moved.
And
Jonathan Grant there.
okay, very good. Do I have a second?
Second, this is Barbara.
Okay, and a second by Barbara Yocum. If no other questions, I'll call the roll. Barbara Yocum.
Aye.
Guy Corbisaro votes yes. Jeff Bennett.
Yes.
Jessica DeRoy.
Yes.
John Telepiak.
Aye.
Jonathan Krantz.
Aye.
Russell Williston.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
And Stacy Donahue.
Aye.
Okay, very good. And the cash schedule is accepted unanimously. And just again for note, I will be basically as votes reading off the list. So I should not change where I call your name within that. So such as John Telepiak will be right behind Jessica DeRoy, but that's just for note. So the next item on our agenda is administrative matters, which is Glenn Eaton. And I just want to know that an updated administrative matters was put on the website a little earlier. So it's this probably has the updated one on it, but the one that you have, if you printed out earlier, this updates some of the stuff that's on it. So if not, Glenn, if nothing else, take it away.
Thanks, Mr. Chairman. And Jason's ahead of us. He already put the more detailed one. Thank you, Jason. So basically 4.1, nothing much to update there, other than Holly was great in finding finally some N95 masks, which we were able to purchase and provide to all employees. We continued to work in the hybrid model. I'm going to go on to the next item, 4.2, unless anybody has questions, Mr. Chairman, and I can just keep moving forward if that's okay.
Yes, please do.
Thank you, sir. So 4.2, basically, the gist of this is it brings forward by about 90 days a past vote of the commissioners. So basically, when in, I think at the July meeting, and Karen, please, this is about Karen Chapman, our new planning and development director. She was promoted from senior planner. So Karen, if I say something wrong, or Linda, you catch me on a number or a date, or Holly, please correct me, okay? The bottom line is that the commissioners approved of my request to compensate Karen at a certain level to bring her from 70,000 as senior planner up to 78 grand, and then pending a 6-month period and a review at the end of the 6 months to goose her up to the 81,700. That's what you see, and that's what the numbers say there. And I originally did this in July for a 6-month time period. However, in the first 90 days or first 60 days, really, I could tell Karen was just, hitting, the baseball was hitting the green wall at Fenway Park. She was knocking everything out of the ballpark, and she's doing very well, exceedingly well. She's doing exemplary work. She's risen to the occasion, and quite frankly, exceeded my expectations. So instead of waiting 180 days or 6 months, I'd like to just do this in 3 months instead of having her wait till the January timeframe to have the bump up to the 81.7 per year. Do that now. I can't speak highly enough of Karen. She's doing a great job. Jason, could you go down a little bit more, sir, to at least see the next paragraph and the resolution? That's great. So I did complete an evaluation a few days ago and gave that to Karen. Technically, we have yet to sit down and talk about it face to face. However, I did deliver it to her, and we do have to do that. Hopefully Tuesday we'll do that, Karen. Officially, we have to talk face to face, then we put it in your file. But Karen does have that document. And then my wife picked up a head cold. I brought her in for COVID and then got her tested. So I've been out of the office today. So we will wrap that up very soon. The resolution in question, MRPC Commission approves of the recommendation, essentially the executive director to compensate Ms. Chapman as Planning and Development Director an annual rate of $81,700 commencing October 3, 2021. Why 4 days ago or 3 days ago? Because that's when the most recent payroll period started. So that's what I'm recommending, Mr. Chairman.
Very good. We have the resolution. Do we have any questions on the resolution? So that for the bottom line for us, we're probably talking about $1,500 difference here, pushing it now instead of till January 1st. Is
Yes,
that
sir.
the general amount? Okay, very
Yes,
good.
yes, sir. That's the gist of it. Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Do I have anybody that would like to move this resolution or not?
Barbara
So moved.
Yocum, I would like to move the resolution.
Okay, very good. Barbara moves it.
Jonathan Kranz, I'd like to second it.
And Jonathan Kranz seconds it. Any other questions in regards to this?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Karen.
I just want to say it's $3,700 difference.
You mean the 3-month difference or the 6 months difference?
Oh, I see what you mean. Never mind.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, very good. Yes. Okay.
Do you see how diligent she is, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you, Karen. No, that's valid information. Thank you, Karen.
No, absolutely. And, she's very aware of all the little nuances. Thank you, Karen. Okay, very good. So I'll call the roll. Barbara Yocum.
Aye.
Guy Corbisero votes yes. Jeff Bennett.
Yes.
Jessica DeRoy.
Yes.
John Telepiak.
Yes.
Jonathan Krantz.
Aye.
And sorry, will it take me a second? Russ Williston
Yes.
and Stacy Donahue.
Aye.
Okay, so the resolution is passed unanimously.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you very much, Karen. Back to you, Glenn, on 4.3.
Yes, sir. Jason, if you could scroll down to 4.3, please. There you go. So no new information on this month. I will say that basically we're holding a public hearing in early November for this grant. This grant is done 12/31 of this year, and we're holding a public hearing to give a status report on the grant. There were 2 aspects to this grant: the food bank assistance, and then assistance to micro enterprises, which are small businesses. The micro enterprise assistance never took off. We surmised that there were just too many dollars out on the street for small businesses, and this program was just not well subscribed to. I think there might be one grant application that we might provide by December. So that's the gist of that. And if anybody has any questions, I can field now, or I'll move on to 4.4, but I can always go backwards. 4.4 is the Montechusett Enterprise Center. So that's our private nonprofit affiliate. We have some new members in the room. So basically, we have MRPC, which is our regional government planning agency. It's our regional planning district. We also have a 501c3 nonprofit affiliate known as the Montechusett Enterprise Center. We will hold the annual meeting of MEC next Thursday at 6 p.m., no later than Tuesday. And if I can work it out tomorrow, we'll send out the agenda and the meeting link, the registration link, and so on. But I just want to plant the seed. The executive committee members of the MRPC, plus at least 2 or 3 other members from the outside, comprise the board of directors. So for any executive committee member here this evening, you know who you are. If you have an officer title or you're a member at large, you're on the MEC. And that meeting will be a week from tonight, minus about an hour and 17 minutes. That's all I have on MEC. The items for housekeeping under 4.51 and our policy issues, the housekeeping edits and the flexible work location scheduling. So I haven't had time to do those without staff. We're all just trying to pinch hit, and just try to help out with other projects. So when we're fully staffed up, and on that note, we are Karen and Chris McDermott and Holly are all helping get the interviews with all of the potential candidates for principal planner and the interns. And we even reached out for regional planner. So we're doing those now. I think we'll be done in about 2 weeks. I'm going to defer if I say something wrong to Karen and Holly, because Holly's been scheduling all of these and Karen's been participating in them as well. So in about 2 weeks, we'll be done with interviews, and then we can, the priorities are to hire a principal planner, which would be a successor and follower, but in no way replace Karen or no way fill her shoes. But we're going to find somebody to work under Karen to help with the planning development department. The next priority is an intern under the Economic Development COVID grant to work with Chris McDermott on a day-to-day basis. If we have funding available, then we'll look at regional planner. And then I'll be talking about more staffing in just a minute, but for the future. So that's the gist of the housekeeping for the policies and how it ties to funding and getting back up to staff. So we can just, stop pulling a lot of double duty to get some things done. I can move on to 4.5.3, which is my last item under admin matters. Jason, if you'd scroll a little bit so they can see 4.5.3 report and that relevant paragraph. Thanks a bunch, Jay. I think you're all aware, and if you're not, shoot me an email later. I'm happy to respond tonight. It's not a problem. But the American I titled it wrong here. It's ARPA, American Rescue and Protection Act, American Recovery and Protection Act, actually. So that's written wrong by me. So communities have received about 50% of their ARPA funds for what they're going to get, between 50% this year, another 50% next year. Basically, this is money under the act. Think of it in terms of like another CARES related act. Money's coming to the towns for eligible uses, replacement revenue, but it's not just writing checks to yourself to pay the light bill. It's very specific what the uses can be. So the municipalities are either going to manage this internally with existing staff, or they're going to outsource to the public or the private sector. I received 5 or 6 emails, and I've been in an email conversation with 5 or 6 communities that are asking us, the MRPC, if we would be willing to deliver some or all ARPA management services. Now, right now, we're not staffed to do this. It would take some of the money that the towns are receiving to pay us to manage their funds. The money, in other words, the money has to come out of that a certain percentage to do the admin. And I'll read this word for word. Whether or not MRPC will provide services dependent upon whether or not we'll be able to earn enough revenue from the municipalities using their ARPA funds, a portion of, and the ability upon the availability of finding trained personnel. Jason, can you scroll down to the top of 3, please? To work at the MRPC and deliver the services. Basically, without advertising for a position, we'll not know if we can deliver the service. and also without continuing these conversations on a parallel track that I'm having with communities to start talking about brass tacks, honestly, about numbers to see if the numbers can work. We won't know if we can deliver the service. That's the bottom line. So I'm recommending a 2 parallel track. I'm recommending that, and I'm requesting permission to advertise for a person who has the skills, the knowledge, at least 10 years experience in managing federal grants. And I don't want to say everybody else is out there advertising also, but I can tell you from San Bernardino County, California, to Helena, Michigan, to Western Connecticut Council of Governments, to Cambridge and Somerville, there are a lot of advertisements out there for these individuals to manage program funds. It's a lot of work. Some communities I've emailed. I'll say one more thing about this. Some communities I've emailed, they get a small amount of money and they said, we're all set. That's fine. And I respect that. That's fine. A community in particular I'm thinking about got $158,000 and they're like, it's so small, we'll be all set. And other communities, the Concords and the Somervilles and the Cambridges are getting 52 million, and everybody's getting an amount in between there. Obviously, the towns of about 10,000 are getting about, $1, $2, $3 million. So these are not small amounts of money. I will share with you that for a lot of you that have been on the commission for a while, that we have been involved deeply with administration of Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG, over the past 22 years or more. The agency's done this 35 or 40 years. Managing ARPA is comparable to managing an ARPA funds. However, there are some greater complexities in ARPA, and there are some lesser complexities in ARPA that I won't bore you with tonight. That's a whole 3-day seminar. So the reality is that I am deeply concerned about the communities that they don't know what. I'm afraid that some of them don't know what they don't know. And the issue here is compliance and expending funds correctly and not expending the funds on ineligible activities. So to that point, before I read the resolution, to that point, tomorrow you'll see that I'm issuing invitations to come to 4 listening sessions on ARPA next Wednesday and Thursday. If you want to make a note in your margin, basically Wednesday it'll be a morning meeting, a noon meeting, and a meeting in the evening. And then on Thursday, it'll be an evening meeting. I think it's 7 on Thursday after the MEC board meeting at 6. So I'm encouraging all of our communities, a lot of local officials, to come and talk and learn from each other about how to manage ARPA. So anyway, the resolution be resolved, the MRPC authorizes the executive director to advertise for an ARPA grants compliance director position in November at a salary level, should say October through November, at a salary level commensurate with market conditions, and report upon the search results at the November meeting of the commissioners, and where at that time the commissioners and the executive director will determine the appropriate course of action to implement. What's that mean at the tail end of that paragraph? It basically means, well, Glenn, you got 30 days, and you had your listening session, and now it's November X, the first Thursday of November. What were your findings? What did the community say? Did those 5 or 6 or 7 towns say, yeah, we want MRPC to do this? Okay, that's fine. So you got a bucket of funds potentially. And then how did the job search go? What did you find? And if we can move on those 2 parallel tracks, I can come back at the November meeting and say, okay, this is what we've learned between October 8th and then that first Thursday of November. This is a position that would be at the level that would be at the least at a department head level, if not on our organizational chart of like an assistant directorship, somewhere at those 2 levels. This is a very high level position, and it's going to take a lot, and we might need more than one. I don't know. So folks, that's the quick background on ARPA. If you've got ARPA monies and you're talking about it locally, I encourage you to read everything you can about ARPA. And if it's not in your wheelhouse or your area of need, because you might be a planning board member, then please take the conversation back to your town administrators. I know they're talking about it, and they're probably talking about it with their auditors, accountants, town treasurers, and so on and so forth. So that's the resolution, commissioners and Mr. Chairman, and I turn the microphone back to you, Guy.
Okay, one question on that, Glenn. I know you said it would be, we're probably talking 100,000 a year for somebody like that, or within that ballpark. Would we be taking in that much money, or would you know within the 30 days whether we would have that much interest in managing these funds?
I think we're going to know how much interest we have. I have a pretty good idea how much interest we have right now. At least 5 or 6 communities are saying, can you at least do our procurement and reporting on this? Others are, can you do all of it? And I sketched out a very brief, simple cash flow and surplus deficit spreadsheet with those 5 communities taking their total allocations at about 5% per year for the next 5 years. And, it's really got to be probably 7.5 or 10% to do the admin properly. Now those are all percentages. We have to work that out. We have to still figure out how to cost the jobs or price the jobs of the reporting, the compliance, and the procurement. It should be a boatload of procurement. But, we're formulating numbers now, and they're very fluid, and I will have much better data on the first Thursday of November to know how much we can afford to buy in personnel. And yes, Mr. Chairman, the ranges of salaries are 80 to 100 grand, 80 to $100,000 in general. It's a very, it's a tough compliance position, quite frankly. The only outlier in the salary I will share with you is that Helena, Montana, the city is looking for someone, or the county, at about 65 grand a year. But prices for labor are different in Montana than they are in New England and so on. But you're talking about a really, a high paid position. This is a complicated job.
So you're looking now that it would be cost effective to go for this position and go for managing those funds.
I wouldn't do it at all if we were getting paid to deliver the service and make sure that we paid all of our bills. That's the bottom line.
Okay.
And we're nonprofit. We can't make profits. So, the private sector, 3 communities out of our 22 have outsourced this to their accounting, their auditing firms, which I thought, is that a conflict? But maybe they have, departments or other subsidiaries that do grants compliance work, and that's cool. 6 communities have asked us for work. That's almost 50% of the communities. I don't know what the other 50% are doing. The cities certainly would be looking at managing this themselves. But even if I'm a city, if I'm a mayor or a city manager or a head of planning and development, I'm going to bring a staff person on, because everybody's got work to do right now, and a lot of people are overworked. And people are going to need bodies, whether you hire a W-2 or you outsource it to a contractor or issue a 1099. This is a big staff up, and my fear is that, will we all be able to find qualified people to do this work? And then when we want to put the pipes in the ground, will we all be able to find the civil engineers to do the blueprints? And then will we all be able to find the contractors to lay the pipes? So, but yes, sir, we would not lose money in this proposition.
Okay, very good. And this resolution is just authorizing you to look down that hole. And you will come back at the next meeting saying, yes, this is going to work for us, or no, it won't work for us.
Exactly. This is okay, Eaton. You can go spend a little bit of money on advertising, see what's out there, and see if you can find someone in the market to deliver the service. And that's it. You're not authorizing me, and I would not ask you to authorize me tonight to hire a person. This would be a multi-phase. We're going to ease into this one.
Okay, very good. Any questions from any of the commissioners?
Yes, this is Barbara. Glenn, do you know what communities have received ARPA funds? Of our MRPC communities?
Every community in the nation is supposed to have received 50% of the total funds that's allocated for your community.
Okay. So 22 communities.
Well, I mean, thousands of them across the nation. Everybody is supposed to have received all 22, plus thousands of more, plus counties, plus states. The Treasury issued the money several months ago. I think it was May or June.
Okay, so just to clarify, all 22 of the MRPC communities have received ARPA funds, correct?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
okay,
Yeah,
great,
everybody in Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont, everybody. Yep,
great.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, Barbara.
And one question, Glenn. Will we be able to expand past our 22 communities for managing funds, or are we limited to the 22 communities?
Well, in the RPA world in Massachusetts, we don't go out of our territories without
Yes.
talking to our brethren and our sibling agencies. Okay. So I'm just starting to have conversations with other RPAs, just starting. I know of one that's not going to touch this with a 10-foot pole. They don't have the staff capacity. And they're like, no, we're gonna help lead our communities to other places if they want to outsource. Do we have the potential to go outside the region by invitation? Yes,
Yes.
absolutely. That's actually, that conversation started with one agency right now, but I don't know where that's going to go. They might say, yeah, you're on a list and we'll give our town of any town in our area the list and they can do what they want. So there's potential there. Yes. Will it happen? We'll see.
Okay, thank you, Glenn. Any other questions? If not, I'll entertain a motion to move the resolution as read.
So move. This is Barbara.
Seconded. This is Jonathan.
Okay, Jonathan Cranston, Barbara move the resolution. Any other questions? If not, I'll call the roll. Not hearing any. Barbara Yocum.
Aye.
Guy Corpusero votes aye. Jeff Bennett.
Yes.
Jessica DeRoy.
Yes.
John Telepiak.
Yes.
Jonathan Krantz.
Aye.
Roger Hoyt has joined us.
Aye.
Hi, Roger. Russell
Hello.
Wilson
Russ Wilson, yes.
and Stacy Donahue.
Aye.
Okay, very good. And the resolution passes unanimously. Okay, on to the next item. Do you have any other items, Glenn?
I don't believe that there is any. Oh, one more thing. Jason, can you pull up there's a handout that has funding sources. It was a lot of tables and there it is. And so I want to thank Karen for doing the work that I stole from her. Thanks, Karen. You're the best. And I want to thank I want to thank Stacy Donahue last month for asking us and challenging us to say, hey, planning funding for communities. So this is a first cut. This is just a first thing. Now, Karen did this table in response to a question for the town of Petersham around a specific project, and it was targeted. And Karen, I'm going to ask you to talk in just a second about that. But so these programs in here are not all just planning programs. Okay, so if you could, if you look on the existing sheet there and it says the second row down says Housing Choice Communities Capital Grant Program. So if you had a housing project or housing program, you'd want to look at this. Now, Stacy and I have gone back and forth a couple times with emails and she's given us some good feedback on, hey, can you add URL addresses, web address of the sources? So this is going to be a living, breathing document that we're going to update probably every 2 to 4 weeks and no less than 90 days. All right. This will always be on our website going forward. All right. So when, the RPA staff, we get things in the email a lot. I just got an email I shared with Karen 1 or 2 days ago about 3 new funding sources, but it's all like for regional stuff. And so we're going to have this available for you. This is just the first cut. I think it's got today's date on it as a revision. And actually, Jason, could you go down to where it says something about, actually, could you scroll down slowly? There's a program I want to talk about in particular. What's the next one? Massachusetts Downtown. No, keep going beyond MDI. Let's see. What's on the next page? Community Planning Grant. Okay, that's a great one. And if anybody has questions about this, I'm going to immediately defer you to Karen. But community planning grants, those are the types of grants that you want to be talking to a state agency known as DHCD. We're going to flesh those out. We talk with Alphabet Soup. So we're going to add those, and it probably says it in here. Karen does great due diligence. Probably says Department of Housing Community Development somewhere. But if there's planning in the areas of the fifth column over, uses of funds, you can see to create planning documents, including master plan, housing production plan, zoning review and updates, urban renewal, so on and so forth. Jason, could you go down a little bit more, please? We're going to go past rural and small town. We're going to go past underutilized program. We're going to go to the next row. We can see strategic demolition grant, parkland acquisition, and what's next after parkland acquisition? Community dump block grant. Oh, my favorite program. So this is a first cut. Not all of these are planning grant programs. Like ending on the last one, CDBG. That's a brick and mortar program. Technically, according to the regs, you can use it for planning too. But I'm not going to waste your time talking about that tonight. So we're going to keep adding programs to this list. I think I'll ask for Karen's help to contribute, other staff to contribute. And Karen, I'll bounce some ideas off of you and Brad and Jason and Holly and anybody else Chris McDermott, anybody else who wants to contribute. We'll try to make this more user-friendly. It's user-friendly now, but you might want to see, obviously, the websites, and we might want to separate between planning versus brick and mortar, planning for towns versus planning for regions like RPAs that might pursue funding and so on and so forth. So this is a first start. We wanted to respond to our commissioner from Harvard asking us for some information, and we want to grow this information over time. So when we do a significant update, we'll upload it as a handout. I'll ask Brad and Jason to find a place on our website to have a home for this, and we'll say, hey, funding resources, click here. That's the gist of this, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
I think Stacy Donahue has a question.
I do. A question and a comment. I appreciate that you guys put this together. This is great. This is definitely what we need, especially where most of our town is volunteer based. So this helps us. And you don't need to limit it to just planning. We definitely want to hear about brick and mortar options as well. Anywhere we can get funding for anything, we'll take it. Our DPW needs help. Our planning department needs help. Wherever you can find it. Thank you.
Okay, great. And thank you for Stacy for motivating this whole sheet here. Thank you. Any other questions? If not, I think if there's no other. Yes.
Karen's got her hand up.
Okay, very good. Yes. Go
I was
ahead.
just going to say it would be really great to know who the best people in each town are to send this to. Obviously you guys, but the town administrators, or sometimes when you send stuff to town administrators, it just kind of goes into a box or a folder and it doesn't get spread around. But if it's the commissioners that we should send it to, then that's who we'll send it to.
I know for Winchendon, Tracy Murphy would probably be the prime candidate for this.
Karen, that's a great question. Guy, that's a really good point. And we have, our Outlook databases and groups for CEOs, town managers, community planning and development. So, but if there's other people, I don't know if the commissioners want to see a monthly email or something, but it's a great question, Karen. The more the merrier.
And it would be really great if when towns have staff changes that someone could let us know, because sometimes we don't know what's going on in your town. Somebody could have left, or we're sending something and it's going nowhere. So just to keep our lists up to date. Thanks.
Okay, great. If no other comments, and I just want to mention, Karen, that we are losing our planning agent next week. Not Tracy Murphy, but God, I'm drawing a blank here on my brain. I've worked with her for 4 years, but I'll get the name to you. Okay, any other comments? If not, then we'll go on to the status report. One other thing I would like to mention, Winchendon is having their fall festival this Saturday. They're shutting down Central Street for the whole length, having a half a dozen different bands, all sorts of venues, people selling wares. It'd be a great place to come, all-day activities. Winchendon Winds, which is a 40-piece orchestra, will be playing at 10 o'clock. So if you have nothing to do on Saturday, come to Winchendon. You won't be disappointed. Okay, very good. After I've got the plug for Winchendon, and Allison Majugian is our planning agent that's leaving. Okay, very good. Status reports. Now, as usual, I go through the status reports, read off the different titles of areas. If you have any questions or any comments or any thoughts, please speak up and don't be afraid to. Okay, 5.1, geographic information systems, miscellaneous GSI contractors. We have in that subcategories, data and applications, air parcel updates, Crocker Pond Recreation Area Trail Mapping, Fitchburg Trail Map Update, Lunenburg Conservation Land Mapping, Royalston Parcel Updates, Townsend Parcel Updates. Just the usual comments on them. And then we move to our next section, which is combined planning grants. Public information reporting participation program, number 1. GIS mapping analysis. Number 3, data collection and analysis program. Pavement management systems. Intersection analysis. And thank you for keeping up with me. Walkability study. Then the Fitchburg Corridor Study. Climate change report. A regional pedestrian plan. And that does it in that category. Then we move down to combined planning grants. Mart Human Services Transportation Brokerage Area Map Update. Mart Route Calculations. And number 3, Mart Bus Stop 88 Public Right-of-Way Data Collection. And that deals with Mart. And then we have the Sterling Complete Streets. This project has been completed, so there's no comments there. Then we go to PAG Sterling, Hubbardston Athol, Hubbardston Master Plan Mapping. Then the Haywood Community Health Assessment. No questions there. Then the DLTA, Ashburnham Zoning Map Update. Airform-based code build-out. North Lancaster 40R Smart Growth Overlay District. Then the Shirley 40R Feasibility Study. And 5 in that category, last is South Royalston Village Center District. Now we move on to the Athol Roadway Survey. A project to inventory pavement conditions. Then the EDA year 3 of 3. Green communities. DOR REPA project to assist communities in the region with tasks associated with maintaining status as a green community. Then we move on to Royalston Green Community. EPA brownfields. And we have no new site assessment requests to that department. Then we go to Affordable Access Regional Coordination. And then MEC Tufts grant. No new information on that. Then the Montechusett Aid Friendly Project. EDA COVID-19, $400,000 grant, and that ends 6/30 of next year. Most of the items in this are completed or no longer needed. GIS mapping is in progress. And then 14 and 15 are once everything's completed, these will be dealt with. And 16 on the next page. And these are Chris McDermott's. Then we move on to Hubbardston Green Communities. No information. Lunenburg Green Communities. Karen's writing the final report. Planning Assistance Grant for Athol, Hubbardston, Sterling. And each of these has a status on it. Then we move on to the Haywood Community Health Assessment. And a contract just ended on that, and final draft was sent to Haywood Hospital for review. Then DLTA 14. Grant was $207,000. We have Ashburnham. Then we have Ashburnham again on that, a different project. Again, third in Ashburnham. Air, Harvard again. Hubbardston, Town Center Overlay District bylaw. Lancaster, 40R District Development, Village District bylaw. Neshoba Regional Greenways. Petersham. I won't even pronounce Nichewaga Inn and Academy Redevelopment Evaluation. Railston. Shirley. Feasibility of creation of 40R Smart Growth Zoning District. Sterling. Streamlined permitting guidebook for business and supplement study to review the town's existing bylaws. Townsend, creating a map for Townsend Master Plan. Templeton Green Communities. Health Alliance Clinton, Commonwealth Health Assessment. $33,000 contract just ended there. And then an EDA year 3 of 3 grant for $70,000. Task 1, MEC Inc. Project planning. MRPC will provide staff support for the Montechusett Enterprise Center to support, develop, coordinate, and manage a variety of training programs. Support planning and development of job retention. Create plans for development of affordable priced housing to low, moderate, and middle income families. And I'm just skimming over these. Task 2, provide municipalities technical assistance, preparing community and economic development grant requests. Then the third task in that is continue increasing public and private sector participation. No questions on any of these. Lancaster hazard mitigation. That's a $25,000 contract. Then we go to the Community Development Division. We have the Shirley CDBG-CV. And it tells us to go up to the section above. And then the Montechusett Enterprise Center. As it shows here, we had a annual meeting last week. We did not make a quorum, so the next meeting will be, as Glenn mentioned, Thursday, 6 p.m. You'll get out the information a day or two ahead, but everybody is welcome to come. You don't have to be a member. And like all the participation we can. And with that, we go to 5.3 transit. Combined planning grant. Support of transportation planning operations. Again, referred to as the 3C. We talk about that monthly. Technical assistance to MART. Still giving all the different projects for MART. And bus stop ADA accessibility evaluation. Mentioned that earlier. Then, and of course, all those are Brad Harris's department as Transportation Project Director, if you have any questions. Then we go to 5.4, Transportation. Combined Planning Grant, Massachusetts Joint Transportation Committee. The MJTC didn't meet in September. The next meeting is next Wednesday, October 13th at 2:30. Nothing to do on Wednesday, come join us. Then the MPO, Massachusetts Metropolitan Planning Organization. They again did not meet in September. Now, being the beginning of the year, the next MPO meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, the 20th at 1 o'clock. So the next 2 Wednesdays are tied up for those things. And then we have support of 3C. And these are under the Unified Planning Works Program, public information reporting, development of the TIP. And be interested if you stopped into those meetings and saw how the TIP was developed. Then we have GIS mapping and analysis, data collection and analysis program, pavement management systems, and intersection analysis, and the walkability study, and the Fitchburg corridor study. I know those are repetitive, but it's information on each one of them. Climate change program, regional pedestrian plan, 13 roundabout in the MRPC region, bus stop ADA accessibility evaluation, and separate contract with the town of Athol, pavement and sidewalk surveys. Again, Brad Harris, project director, and George Snow, principal planner, Sherry Beam, and Brian Doherty. And that brings us to the end of our status report. Is there any questions on any of those? Or if anybody has any new business they'd like to bring up? I guess not hearing anything. Any of the staff have anything? If not, we'll adjourn this meeting. Do you have any comments before we leave, Glenn, or anybody from staff?
Not for me. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, very good. It's actually 7:55. Give me time to go watch Young Sheldon at 8 o'clock.
The Red Sox.
Yeah, okay. Well, I keep flipping back and forth.
If you want to fall asleep, go ahead and watch the Red Sox.
See, that's why I keep flipping. It keeps me moving. Okay.
That was harsh.
Go Irish. Okay. If nothing else, I will call this meeting adjourned at 7:55. And thank you, everyone, for coming to the meeting and participating. Have a great evening and a wonderful weekend. And hopefully we might see you in Winchendon on Saturday.
Good night.